Check one, two. Yes, I can.
Great.
Letting Kevin Miller in. Kevin Miller,
Kevin, what's
welcome
up?
back. It is the great. It's June 6th, 2025. Just about 1 week away from the famed and illustrious Florida Surf Film Festival.
I feel the Florida Surf Film Festival has risen now above other regular surf film festivals and can now be considered alongside what? Not quite Sundance level, but it's not quite con, but coming up there.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Welcome to the show,
Meant to
Kevin
be.
Miller.
Really, I do appreciate it. You guys, thank you for having me on. I wanted to uh, share a little bit of detail about what we're showing at the festival just to get people a little excited because number one, you guys will be there, which
In
is
person.
huge. I love that when you guys make it out because it brings faces to names and, I think everybody enjoys meeting you guys. And so, but we do have some great movies on tap. Do you guys want to hear about them?
Yes, I do. It's been too long since we've been there together, and we have friendships that we developed there that I look forward to going back and reconnecting with people. So
So true.
it's become a part of my I don't know, just like my yearly routine, and I miss it.
Pilgrimage.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, David, you were here in November, which was nice because it had been a while. And Charlie, it's time to get you out here to witness our new venue, which is now like an 850 seat theater at the News Journal Center in Daytona Beach. We moved 15 minutes up the road. Inconvenient for some, but like more convenient for others. But it's still worth that, 25-minute drive from New Smyrna Beach. And there's no bugs, there's no bathroom lines. The screen's like three times bigger. The sound is great. We have ushers. I mean, I don't know. It seems like from the grassroots start, we're actually pretty fancy now, and I'm really looking forward just to sharing these movies here on Father's Day weekend. Big shout out to all the dads, including mine, passed away 5 weeks ago, and yeah, because of him, this festival's possible. So I'm really happy to yeah give you guys some a lowdown on what to expect.
Yeah. What are we going to be watching?
So, Tom Macaluso and John Brooks and I, we sit around and watch these submissions. We get about 100 a year on our Film Freeway site. And then we get some via email, and we know people who are making movies. But my favorite thing is when I stumble on a movie and a person I've never heard of. And that's the case with the opening movie on Friday, Arctic Journal, by a guy named Paco Elizalde. And it is an epic 25,000 kilometer journey around Norway and Sweden, and they come full circle around to Ireland. They score some unbelievable hidden nooks, and the cinematography from these two, this couple in a van, is extraordinary. You'll love it. It's worth showing up early at 5 to grab your taco, poke bowl, and grab your seat early for that 6 o'clock, screening. It's going to be amazing. Followed
Sweet.
by Tingle, a movie by Cayenne Salmon, and I think I'm saying his name right. It might be Gaelic. It's Cian Salmon, and he's from Western Australia. I think he is, but the Zach Haynes, who's the big wave charger in this movie, is from Western Australia. There's a lot of footage out there that will blow your mind. It's perfect for the big screen, massive, heaving barrels, kind of reminiscent of Facing Monsters a few years back. But then, Finley Woods came in with, and Harrison Roach with a short. We're going to show that next in the second block. As you know, guys, we do 2 blocks of movies. Give a nice hour-long intermission for everybody to hang out and chat for a little while. And then we're going to follow that up with Shaping the Future that David, you introduced us to that movie.
Yeah.
Robert Helfand, Tony Gentili. It's the story of Lance Collins, Richie Collins' dad. You know, I had no idea the legacy this guy left on board making and the revolutionary things he was doing for wave tools, the boards he shapes. So, just from a design standpoint alone, they were beautiful and broke new ground. But you'll hear the people who know what they're talking about in this. Bob Hurley, Danny Kwok, all the guys in the movie being interviewed have the 411 on what Lance Collins did to change that landscape in the 80s. So that's going to be a good watch for you guys.
Really well made movie too.
Yeah, it is. And that's another one that, they pop up from nowhere. It's like between Lauren Hill and you and the other folks that just turn us on to some of these gems, um, we're really lucky. So, you
Well, the other thing is listeners, when are they going to be able to watch that movie? You know, like, I mean, I kind of talk about this a lot, how many great films we get to see through the film festival, but a lot of them never see the light of day, and it's a total shame. So I really hope that specifically does make it
yeah,
mainstream.
very good point. On our website, we have an archive and you can always go back to the years and try to find a movie that you like. And I'm in the process of working to link all those up to where the movie is available. So I'm going to stick an intern on that. But to
Okay.
your point, like we just interviewed a guy named Richard Yelland who made an incredible movie about Dick Metz called Birth of the Endless Summer, but that showed 3 years ago now.
Right.
So, and it's still not available to the general public, but it will be on June 20th. He did a 3-year festival run. So on June 20th, that's going wide, and
Cool.
anybody who missed it will be able to watch that.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what we do on Saturday is we get a little surf in the morning, some breakfast. We get back over there, get organized at the News Journal Center, and open the doors again at 5. And we have an incredible movie from Chile. The guys at Globe made a movie called Lacuma. Luke Pilbeam is his name. He's an incredible filmmaker. Some beautiful, beautiful waves, heavy from down in Chile. And then kind of a adjacent movie, but we thought it was worthwhile because it was so riveting. It was Last Known Coordinates. And there's a guy out there named Chris Burdish. He's been featured in our festival before when he won the Big Wave contest at Mavericks. I think he had a movie about that. I can't remember the name, but he's flying out for this too. So Robert Helfand and Tony Gentili from Shaping the Future will be at the festival, by the way, to present their work. And then Chris Burdish will be there as well to present Last Known Coordinates, paddling a stand-up paddleboard from Africa to the Caribbean. And so
Wow.
unassisted, yeah, completely unassisted. He has a sat phone, I think, but it's an incredible journey. So I think you guys will really like that. Some local talent in the festival after that called Blue Veil by our own Michael Dunphy. He's a pilot now, and he's flying around the Caribbean with Jimmy Wilson, scoring an insane little, not little, but heavy right, just in the middle of nowhere. It's dreamy. You'll love it. But that's going to be followed up after our intermission by a movie called Hollywood Don't Surf, Sam George's 2010 documentary that it premiered at Cannes Film Festival. And I think Hollywood Don't Surf as a thesis is basically a criticism of how Hollywood has handled surfing in cinema over the years. It did not pick up distribution, but that said, it's an incredible movie. Like it's his like masterpiece actually. And when you rag on Hollywood for not doing a good job, there's a chance it might not pick up distribution. So, I think Sam put his heart and soul into this. There's interviews with Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, John Milius before he had the stroke, Stacy Peralta, Gary Busey. I mean, you guys, this movie is amazing, and it's kind of an underground screening. We actually aren't broadcasting the title on our website because it's yeah, it's kind of underground. But if you come out, you're going to meet Sam, who will be there signing copies of his new book. So, Child of Storms, a memoir in progress. So come check it out. Meet.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'll
Epic.
be Kevin Miller, what's your prediction on how it's going to go when Chaz Smith and Sam George meet for the first time?
Well,
It won't be the first time.
I
Well,
think I listen to your podcast a lot, and I think Charlie levels some criticisms on occasion at folks that are valid because I deserve them. Everybody else deserves. It improves our work. I feel criticism, and then I take it and I try to improve whatever I'm doing. If Sam didn't take that criticism, who gives a shit, right? But like, who knows if he's even heard it? I doubt it. I think it'll be a fun meeting. And Charlie, you're the best at disarming people because you're really just a gosh darn. I mean, you're a teddy bear, dude.
Sam does read Beach Grit. He told me that much, and he does it really like kind of like, I don't know what the right word is, but he's nervous to look at it, and then he still does. But I think he has a sense of humor, and he's kind of like Teflon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam George can take it for pity's
Yeah,
sake. He can
he
take
can.
my slings and arrows.
Yeah, he can. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Me
Yeah,
too.
me too. You guys will have a nice time. And then we've also scored an unreal setup for you guys, a brand new Rivian loaner to cruise up the coast of the East Coast here to Charleston and back. So I'm excited to share. We've just partnered with Rivian for the festival, and that's a nice little side benefit.
Thank you. Do we get the
Absolutely.
truck or the SUV?
TBD. I'm
Okay.
not sure. They're going to reach out, early next week with details. And Charlie, you're flying in on Tuesday night, right?
Sure am.
Okay,
So,
so I'll just meet up with you guys on Wednesday morning. We'll take care of all that.
so my question to you is, I guess we don't have to do this on air, but where do we stop? Where do we fill the thing up? How do we fuel it?
I think it has a, adapter for the Tesla supercharger network.
Okay.
So you'll just be able to plug in any one of those, and there's loads of those everywhere.
Okay, cool. I'm
Amazing.
excited.
Yeah,
Me too. It's
I
my
am too.
I wonder if it's going to turn. Was it Noble Rot or was it right here that savaged the SUV as a unworkable and unneedable vehicle?
It might have been Noble Rot.
Well, I savaged the SUV in any case, so I'm kind of hoping we get an SUV because I love nothing more than being proven wrong.
It'll
Yeah,
be the fact that it's a Rivian is more important than the shape and the size.
That's true.
I'm
yeah.
excited.
You'll glide all the way up and down here for your podcast in Jacksonville and Charleston, I think so.
Yeah.
If they haven't sold out already, get your tickets.
Thank you. Yeah. And then final note, what website do they go to? You mentioned there's an archive of films. What's your website?
Yeah, it's just floridasurffilmfestival.com, and
Cool.
brand new website last year put together by Tom Macaluso. It looks good. So thank you for the plug.
It's
All
really
spelled
beautiful.
out, Florida Surf Film Festival.
What's that, Charlie?
All spelled out, not FF.
Yeah,
Okay,
all spelled out. Yeah, the long
great.
one.
Um, and then have you been listening to the bonus show at all, Kevin?
Yeah, I listened to a couple, uh, but time constraints lately. This month's been a busy one. And since
Okay.
you started it on a Patreon, tell me what I'm missing.
So we were introducing a new segment today. This is my encouragement, my reminder to you and everybody else. Go to Patreon, look for Extra Fine Grit, and come and listen. We have a listener submitted concept called tin foiling, and it's where I'm going to give Chaz a surf world conspiracy theory, and he has to make it seem true on the spot. Chaz is
Easy.
not prepped, but we'll pitch him the conspiracy theory,
Yeah,
and then he has to either, defend it, deny it, and then make it seem true.
They're all true, so that's going to be easy.
you were born for that. I think all your training has led up to this moment in your career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tinfoiling is a great name, by
Come
the way.
listen to tinfoiling.
Yeah.
And come meet us, Chaz Smith, David Lee Scales, and Kevin Miller at the Florida Surf Film Festival next week. I cannot wait to be back.
Cannot wait either.
It's a fun time, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin
Kev.
Miller. Good luck with the rest of the day, man.
You got it. Take care.
All right, see ya. Um, Getting a nice view of Kevin Miller's ceiling over there.
That's sweet. I hope this footage stays right in.
What do you have to do in life to get a ceiling that looks like that?
Man, you beat Kevin Miller. But I'll tell you what, or I think also you have a nice wooden yacht that you go do your podcast in. Were you getting seasick while watching Kevin Miller's screen?
He's multitasking. He's holding a phone.
Was that a phone, you think?
It must have been.
I couldn't tell if his whatever setup was connected to the mic and the mic kept moving, and then or if he was actually on a fancy like schooner out at a wooden schooner out at sea, just bobbing on the waves.
I think schooner implies that it can't be fancy.
I mean, but like one of those, because for it to be that big,
It's a
right?
yacht.
I mean, it would have been like, yeah, I was thinking more like almost a pirate galley or whatever they called them, or galleon. Sorry.
Galleon,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, he referenced that we're going to be in Jacksonville Beach on Wednesday and Charleston on Thursday. I've got giveaway. Look at all these NVS fins that I have
What?
here to give away.
I will tell the dear listener,
making it rain like a strip club. Just
I will tell the dear listener who comes, NVS will change your life. They will change your surfing life. It changed mine.
that is quite the sales pitch. Surfnvs.com. If you're not coming to the show and you want to actually pay for them, they're incredibly priced, guaranteed for life. The best fins on the market. But then we're going to be giving these away at the live shows. And in addition to a Mike February fish provided by Channel Island Surfboards for the Charleston show, which is the grand prize.
Can't beat it. I have a quick question for you. Lifetime guarantees.
Yeah.
If you win, let's say, a pair of NVS fins, you get them for free, or let's say you get anything for free that has a lifetime guarantee. Are you allowed to participate in that lifetime guarantee, or does your getting it for free negate the lifetime guarantee?
Great question. It does not negate it for NVS fins. I can't speak for other companies.
Okay. But would you feel like if somebody got their NVS fans and they're like, I nicked it, and then would you feel less of them if they went and returned them instead of just buying a new pair?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. And the reality is NVS isn't going to be like, let me see the receipt. You know what I mean? They'll just trust. They stand behind the product is what they do. Um,
Smart.
Anytime I hear about a lifetime guarantee, I automatically think of Tommy Boy.
Yes, that's really funny. I haven't, but now I will forever.
I've endeavored to revisit films of my youth. And what I recently put on the list yesterday, actually, is Austin Powers.
Hmm.
When was the last time you saw it?
Forever ago.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Austin Powers, right? I felt I liked the conceit of Austin Powers, but watching Austin Powers, it felt like eating cotton candy sprinkled with Skittles, right? It was just, but maybe I'm wrong. This is why we got to revisit. I remember at the time not loving it. I remember thinking, oh, this is a movie that's supposed to be super funny, and it's just trying to be a little bit too funny.
I remember at the time absolutely loving it. And then each subsequent film got worse and worse and more
Maybe
sickeningly sweet, like you're talking about. But the reason why I want to revisit is exactly to assess that. It's like, did I just think it was funny because I was 14 years old, or is it actually
is it
funny?
funny?
Yeah.
I'm surprised to be quite frank, because what I recall being the funniest part of the whole thing was Fat Bastard. And I don't know how Fat Bastard didn't get his own spin-off film.
Great question. I think Fat Bastard was part two, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but Fat Bastard was really funny in my
You're right.
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he should have
the
absolutely had
funniest
his
part of the
entire,
whole,
yeah.
yeah, funnier than Austin Powers, British, blah, 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 and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know how we got on Austin Powers from that. Oh, lifetime guarantee.
Yeah.
Tommy Boy,
Tommy Boy.
old movies. So Tommy Boy I revisited over the years a couple of times. Phenomenal.
Tommy Boy holds up.
Step Brothers I went back and watched a while
Very
back.
funny. The funniest.
Incredible.
Step Brothers actually ages well, like fine wine, I feel. Like I mean, yeah, Step Brother to young daughter, and it was like the funniest thing, obviously, she's ever seen, and because it is.
Yeah, it really is. In addition, so our live shows, I also forgot to mention Marshware. Marshware is now sponsoring the live shows. And so we've got gear from Marshware that we'll be giving away as well. So come and check them out. They're an incredible local brand in Charleston that kind of has its roots in fishing, but the owner of the company, Logan, is a hardcore surfer. And so while the gear was originally designed for fishing, the fishing community and that lifestyle, they're now doing a bunch of surf related products. So check out Marshware and then come grab products from us there. And also important to note, Justin Quintal is joining us on stage on in Jacksonville Beach, and he has a fishing world title. He caught in 2020 the largest yellowmouth grouper ever.
How big was it?
I could show you a picture. I don't
Groupers are
do,
huge,
yeah, I
aren't
don't,
they? Was this thing huge?
I mean, it's not the size of a man.
Okay, so he could hold it up. Was he
It's
holding
half,
it?
he was holding it. It was a half of a
Okay.
Justin Quintal, I would say.
Okay, that's big though.
It's massive. Yeah,
But in
apparently the
the
world
record
record.
books,
In the record books in 2020. I don't know if it's been beaten since.
does Justin Quintal spearfish, or does he rod and pole or rod
Yeah,
and line or whatever they
you're going to
call it?
have to ask him on stage.
Can't wait.
Fishing is something that everybody loves that I know nothing about.
Man, nothing. The only, I'll tell you, I've talked about my hard days with Mick O'Brien on the boat and how that turned me off of that kind of fishing. But the kind of fishing that I look and I know that I will, ship has sailed for me here, right? I will never be able to do it. I won't be able to learn it. It'll take too much time, too much energy, too much money, too all of it. That's done. But is fly fishing. Like I could see really learning how to having fun tying those flies, and then just being river runs through it out in the Montana streams, just casting and things like that.
I've got a buddy who's super into it, and yeah, he's like travels Argentina, Alaska, like goes all
Yeah.
over and fishing. He went to the Sierras a couple of years ago, and his car keys fell out of his pocket,
Ooh.
and so he was stuck. And then his wife had to like overnight the car key, his spare set to him up there, and all sorts of stuff. So, but what I've learned, the ultimate role for me is I don't have to learn how to fish. I don't have to learn how to hunt because I know how to cook.
Yep.
And so those dudes, they want me to cook and they provide me with a protein. And then it's an even trade.
Have you ever even traded with Britt Merrick on some
We've,
of his venison?
I feel like he's promised me yes and then hasn't delivered.
Brit. That's so Brit. That is so Brit.
I've even sent them wine. Christmas time rolls around, send them some wine up to Channel Islands, and I'm like, bro, you deliver the venison or the elk or whatever you're getting, I'll bring the wine and I'll cook.
do you think that you could do a better version of deer meat than Britt Merrick? Or do you think
Probably
Britt
not.
Merrick is like does he have it all dialed? Or is he just tough guy? Is he like, man, you salt, fat, eat it?
The thing is, I don't have experience cooking with those meats, so I'm sure they would do a better job than I. But
Have you enjoyed venison in your time on this earth?
yeah, I have. But I haven't developed a palate. Like it's not as if it's something that I crave. I've had it
Yeah.
a few times. It's been fine, you know, but I don't know about it really.
What about horse in
Had
Italy?
I had horse in Italy one time. It was disgusting.
It's really hard. It was really hard for me to get my mind around it. Like it took me this long, kind of a good 45 years, older than 45 now, but it probably took me 45 years to get my head around beef tartare. Now I love a good beef tartare. Fantastic. But it was really, really, I mean, beef tartare now is one of my favorite foods, to be quite frank. Horse, I don't think I'll ever be able to get there.
I've never had a good version of it. I think I've only had it once, and it was in Italy, and it was half a plate. The plate was like half polenta and half horse kind of stew on the other side, and it just wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's a good way to prepare it. I just haven't had it.
Hmm.
I'm open to it.
Okay.
All right, well, moving on. Come out live shows. Slow Tide as well has contributed beach towels, so we're giving Slow Tide towels away. But
And
oh,
and Bear watches.
Veyer, I forgot those are coming tomorrow in the mail. So I'll have Veyer watches on hand tomorrow. And then lastly, we're Charleston, Cam Richards and his dad, Kelly Richards, are joining us. Cam just came off of a second place finish at Stab High Japan, went straight to Southern California, took first in the Cosmic Creek Challenge.
Look at that.
Boom. And he stars in Stab's new Stab 100 series that they're doing. So he's
Get
on a
Cam
roll.
Richards while he's hot.
Seriously, he's on the come up.
Yep.
All right, and we've got some surf news. Crazy footage and story coming out of Chopu yesterday. Tom Lowe suffers a near fatal injury surfing Chopu. Did you see the footage?
I didn't see the footage and I read the headline this morning and I thought, oh, this is Google or whatever feeding me old stuff. Well, what are you doing, Google? Because didn't he just have a big bonk out at Chopu?
He did. I don't know. I shouldn't be laughing. Yes, he had a near fatal a year ago. I think it was April 28th, 2024. He was airlifted after getting pitched on a late drop and slammed headfirst into the reef, resulting in five broken ribs and a punctured lung.
Ooh,
So
ooh. What happened?
barely,
What happened this time?
so barely a year later, a little over a year later, actually, yesterday, um, I saw this footage. Tim McKenna actually posted an image on Instagram of Sage Burke performing CPR while Vatea David was stabilizing him on the back of the ski. But Sage, who had been sitting with Tom Lowe on the West Bowl all morning, exchanging pleasantries and big wave wisdom, said that multiple waves passed three or four of the biggest sets of the day, rolling him. So Tom Lowe, the footage, there's a image, or I'm sorry, a video clip of Tom on a West one. Beautiful drop, beautiful takeoff, pumps, actually doesn't really pump into the barrel, takes the low line. You know, when it hits that west bowl and it swings kind of like
Yeah,
at the wave,
horseshoe. Yeah.
you need to be at the very bottom because if you're high, you just get sucked up and pitched over. So he read it perfectly by just staying low and like angling the board almost at the beach so that he could hit that west bowl and then like drive straight out of it. But it was so like girthy and powerful and so much spit that I think the spit just kind of blew him off the wave. So once it hits that west bowl, he's so deep, even though the footage is looking into the barrel, he's so deep you can't see him anymore. And then there's tons of spray and spit, and you kind of see a little bit of him getting blown off of his board. So, anyways, Sage goes on to say that there was three or four of the biggest sets of the day that rolled over Tom. Tom was on the first one. It was the worst hold down I've ever seen. We were counting, screaming. He hasn't come up. He hasn't come up. The fourth wave detonated, and Poto, Vitea David was on the ski. He drove in, and Sage followed. They were driving around looking for him, and let me see. That's when we saw his board. Tom was floating. He was unconscious, blue and purple with big lacerations under his eyes and on his chin. Sage jumped from the ski and helped Tom onto the sled. Then they began CPR. We did 3 rounds. I was on compressions. Poto was on breaths. Nothing. No pulse. Then the fourth round. Tom coughed up this yellow foam, a little one, and then a huge amount of yellow foam. Signs of life, a tiny pulse. He was nonverbal, still unconscious, but he was alive.
So he got airlifted, I'm assuming, like, but no other update.
No other updates since then.
Uh,
He, I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know what the update is since then, but he is alive.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Unconscious on site, but airlifted from that point on. So crazy. You watch the footage and it's no worse than any other wipeout. In fact, we see worse wipeouts or what looks to be worse, but that's
I'm,
how death defying the place is.
I mean, I mentioned this
Or the
before, and it
deadly.
still baffles me regularly where how many times do you see big pipeline or big chopu, like manageable but big, and people wiping out. I mean, CT events like regularly, and I think if that was me, I would be dead. Like
Yeah.
where, yeah, it's. I've always thought it's a miracle that this doesn't happen basically on every third wipeout. Somebody, that's it.
Well, thoughts obviously with Tom Lowe, but also what incredible action from Sage Burke and Vitea
Hmm.
David to, not only go on the hunt, but then have the skill set and the wherewithal and kind of the presence of mind to perform
Bring him back.
life-saving CPR. And I think that's a lesson for me is the CPR thing. I've wanted to learn CPR for 15 years and I haven't
Yeah,
done it.
yeah. Well, and stuff is, I mean, I remember I had to get CPR certified for, I can't remember what job way back when,
Teaching maybe?
probably. And this would have been like 25 years ago, probably. And I'm sure that all of the what you're supposed to do has changed at this point. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I
Maybe.
mean, I think the people know more now. Doctors know how better to do this. So the fact that we don't is shame on us. It's just
Total
like,
shame on us, man.
yeah, it's one of those things that you should not put off. Like it's exactly, there's never a time when you think, okay, this coming weekend, I know somebody's going to drown, so I better get my CPR certification by Thursday.
We have young kids in the house, so shame
Hmm.
on us. And then also our parents are getting older. We're around older people all the time. There's just no excuse whether or not you're in the ocean environment where something like that's going to happen, or just you're in a restaurant and somebody's choking on something.
I would love listener feedback right here on what's the best way or best place to go get some CPR training.
Also, more shame on me. Lauren bought this device that simplifies it. Like it's a compress. I think you put it on their face and you pump it, so you don't even need to provide do the mouth to mouth. This is more effective and better. Um, and it's shame on me again because she bought it 2 years ago. I haven't learned how to use the device. It's
Yeah.
sitting in the pantry, and it's like I always look at it. I'm like, oh, I gotta open that up and read the directions, and then I
Yeah.
don't. And if there's a scenario where somebody needs this, and I'm having to read directions,
Yeah, it's silly. No,
I'm
it's
gonna go
silly.
learn it right after we're done with this.
Yeah, good, good. Call me when you're done. FaceTime
Okay.
me while you're while you're learning.
Will do. Um, Congrats, heroes over there in Tahiti. And yeah, we'll be keeping tabs on this one.
Yeah.
In a little more irreverent news, Italo Ferreira is pregnant and he deletes all of his Instagram posts just to shine a light on the single pregnancy post.
What? Yeah, this whole thing, let's just get straight to the funniest bit of this was I think it was the Green Room Times. Did you see that one with Italo cradling the Red Bull can?
Yes.
Very, very funny. Congrats to them as always. But okay, so I think we've barreled or nod this all up, and I think we barreled or nod each and every element of the Italo Ferreira pregnancy post. So if you don't mind, I would like to go through the nah barrels. Nah barrel number one, doing a pregnancy photo shoot with your expecting mother. Barrel
Cringe.
nah number two, nah, wearing white shirts and denim together for said photo shoot. And or was Elo shirtless?
I
Or
think
was
he
he
had
in
a
it?
white, he was in a white
It
top.
was the classic white denim.
Yeah.
That's a nah. So there's two nahs so far, right?
Yeah.
Uh how many more are there? Maybe there's just two.
Um, well, the one that we haven't barreled or not is deleting all your previous. Actually, we have because this could be related to him having posts with past girlfriends,
Well,
and
here and
that's one that we've.
here's the thing. So in my post Ricardo Toledo Instagram life, I've thought, I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave stuff up there forever. I'm gonna the ones that really matter on the main feed. There'll be some, right? There'll be like 15. That'll grow slowly. But anything that's promoting something that goes away or whatever can be,
Right.
who cares, right? Like I don't need to look back. But when I look back on the wife's feed, I am so happy that it's like I memories are there, right? And it's great. It's a great traipse down the lane. So Italo would have
Italo.
been deleting to get rid of, I would assume to get rid of past lovers.
He definitely had photos of past lovers on there in the past. So
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I
know if he deleted them previous to this or just with this.
I feel he's gone through sort of regular purges
Yeah.
of past lover purges.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, deleting them all for the pregnancy post though seems, I mean, what do you think? How many followers does he have? 300 grand, probably.
I just 3 million. I just pulled
Three
it up.
million
3
followers.
million.
So I would imagine that his socials are very much tied into his sponsorship deals, right?
Yes, of course.
Um, and I would think that this is just an announcement. But does he start over? Is there a way to archive everything and then put it back up? Or
Apparently, yes. I literally just pulled this up while we're talking. His posts are back,
see, okay, so there's
but
a
only 24.
yeah, so he went and purged. Are they all like Red Bull posts and
Nike,
Billabong
Red.
posts and
Yep.
yeah, so I bet he got busted, to be quite frank. I bet his whoever manages him or his agent said, "Hey, Italo, no, 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 no. You have you're like your money is tied directly to this." So I bet he went and put exactly what he needed up in terms of sponsor posts.
So it's the Nike announcement, it's his
Yep.
world championship win, it's all the important ones.
Yeah. So
Oakley,
so this was a purge of past lovers, but then he got busted in the purge. The baby went out with the bathwater. The
yeah.
financial baby went right out with the bathwater in announcement of the other baby that's not financial, but that baby's going to need that financial baby.
Um, so I hate to be the one to say it. I also have judgment about the new girl who we've never seen before, or we've only seen for the last 6 months, having a baby in a temporary relationship.
I mean, like all fine and good, but then celebrating it in a way that is like the classic we've been married for, not for a long time because you don't do the denim white shirt thing. That's like still a 2, 3 years in kind of thing where you're willing to do that. Oh yeah, another knob barrel. Don't be dressed by your significant other. So many knob barrels in here. But yeah, but like it's just such a odd time to be alive, I guess. But this like required this prerequisite now, like baby mama to be must have said, I need this, Italo, right? But Italo looked like he was fully engaged in the process.
Yeah, I think Italo, while he might move from one level of interest in something to another, or one thing of interest to another fairly quickly, I believe that he's fully passionate about that thing when he's doing that thing.
That's true.
Yeah. So I don't think that he's insincere about it, but just from me as a, I don't know, the way that I was raised, I guess, which is um that baby's going to need some stability in its life. It's going to need, I don't know, whatever. Stability more than anything. Love. You want to be fully invested in the relationship before you make that kind of commitment with somebody. And so that's a thing where it's kind of like, dude, I remember you were with a different girl last year, and all the posts were like you guys licking each other's faces and weird stuff like that. And now this girl I've never seen before, congratulations that you guys are pregnant. I hope this lasts as long as you need it to last, and that that baby has the stability and the love that it needs and all that sort of thing. It's just my jury is still out.
Uh, I'm all down for Italo to go on this journey. I'm excited for him to be a father. Uh, I would say my advice, Italo, because I know you're a listener. My advice would be maybe don't Instagram stuff and actually work on the getting your house set correctly, right? Like maybe that's, I don't know, personal work. Maybe that's just like sitting down and reflecting, like, okay, what do I want to provide here? What kind of father this is coming? How do I want this to be? Right? There's something that goes beyond, I feel, a very performative, very de jour Instagram post.
I agree.
Uh, Another thing, wait, we can barrel or not right here. You've dropped it twice. I'm gonna nah barrel up on you. They're not pregnant. She's pregnant.
I know.
The people who say that, have we done that as a barrel or not?
I don't think so.
I really loathe the we're pregnant. No, you are not. Your woman is pregnant.
Well, I'm going to gnaw you by calling her your woman. Sophia LaRocca is her name.
Sophia LaRocca is pregnant.
I I love Sophia LaRocca. I don't know anything about her, but I just hope that
What
I
is she?
hope
I think Derek wrote about this. Derek, is she a fitness influencer?
I don't know. Her bio line is all in Portuguese.
Are you too lazy to click translate?
Yes, I am. But I hope that she gets out of the relationship precisely what her expectations are and what she wants.
Okay, if there were going to be odds on this, where would you place your Bitcoin investment? Let's say you got to put every ounce you've invested in Bitcoin over the past however long you've been investing in Bitcoin. You got to put in a window. I'm going to say there's 0 to 1 year. There is 1 to 3 years. There is 3 to 6
Five.
years,
Okay.
3 to 6, and then we'll go 6 plus.
I'm going 1 to 3 on the romantic relationship with an announcement, maybe not even a public announcement, but then in that 3 years, within that 3 years, a agreement to co-parent, but not continue the romantic relationship.
It is with profound depth of feeling in our hearts that we have decided to continue to love each other and our child from afar.
I think it's very difficult if he continues to pursue his world title ambitions, his second world title or whatever. It's just hard to be on the road that much and continue a romantic relationship, especially when he has access to all the vice that he does with his level of fame and fortune.
Unless she's a Kalani Miller. I mean, if she's like, hey, I'm packing it up and we're traveling the world with, instead of our Chihuahua Wonder dog or whatever what was their Chihuahua called?
Action.
Action. We're gonna have a little baby. You're not gonna
We'll
be able to
see.
shake me, Italo.
Good luck with the two of them. Hope it all works out fantastically, and also hope it does not distract Italo from his world title ambition this year.
Italo already seems a little distracted, to be quite frank and honest, all season. He's been a real
This is
yo-yo.
it. Well,
Yeah.
this is the reason why. I think this is the big reveal of why he's lost the last three events to wild cards in the round of 32, you know?
But do you think, I mean, yeah, because she's properly pregnant, I suppose, in those pregnancy announcement photos. So he's known this for what? How pregnant is she? She three
Maybe
months?
I don't know, maybe 10 weeks or so is when you might want to announce, but even prior to him knowing, they were getting pregnant. So that's a distraction.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Um, moving on, iconic surf shoe Vans records staggering $400 million yearly loss.
Records is how that word is
Records.
pronounced.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, 400 mil dragging down VF Corp with it. VF Corp's other big brands, Timberland. Did you ever own a pair of Timberland boots?
No,
Did you know that they're called Tims in the groups that wear them, the rap
nope,
circles?
did not know.
Yeah, you get some Tims, some fancy new Tims. I don't know if they still call them that, but both Timberland and North Face were up. Vans staggeringly down.
What do they attribute the losses to?
They didn't really in the Instagram post I read, but it seemed like I mean, I don't know because those losses aren't attributed to closing things or firing people because those are gains on the book, right? Books. So I have no idea how Vans continues to, I don't know, that I think the VF Corp CEO, whatever person said, no, this is all good, this is all like realignment, blah 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 blah, right? Like corpo speak of, but to me, that doesn't sound good. Like, I wonder if Vans is a tidy, well, the Vans classics are never ever going to go out of style or business. It is a timeless shoe, right?
Yeah,
And they have a couple, I'm going to say Vans has in that classics like three or four timeless shoes. They have the skate high, they have the slip on, they have the, low, whatever, the lace up, low top lace up. So there's three that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head where Converse doesn't have three iconic. Converse has Converse, low top, and high top. That's it. So it's hard for me to understand how you just don't say, okay, we're going to pare this brand down to just that. We're going to fully give up on Vans surf booties, Vans, high performance runners, Vans, whatever. Nobody wants Vans for that.
yeah.
None of it's worked.
Well, you have to have pretty, I don't know, the ambition that it took to grow the company to the levels that they grew to up to 5 years ago. It's a total different way of thinking to do what you're saying. And so
Yeah, just making a mom and pop shop.
you'd have to replace all the management or just sell it to the corporation who does exactly that thing, which they may ultimately end up doing. But nobody wants to give up the dream of being,
This could be
the billion
bigger.
dollar brand.
I mean, I feel that Vans got confused at some point, like, and I don't know at which level, like at the VF Corp level or where, but got confused that it was like a Nike. Like, I think they were thinking, well, it's Adidas, it's Nike, it's Vans. We all
Yeah.
make shoes, right? And no, you don't actually don't. Like, I mean, and Nike's in real trouble too. I think the shoe market in general right now is in trouble across the board. But Vans, you were never that. You were never, I never ever understood them trying to make whatever their tech version was. Like, you guys don't do a tech version, and anyone who wants a tech version will get a better tech version from a company that actually does that.
It's literally 5 years ago. They could do no wrong.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
they were the one example out of the surf world who had somehow like not gone BK.
because you could see that, oh, they have a stable product that is never going away, the classics line, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know how, of course, that is going to go up and down too. Like, I remember every single 10 years ago, every single high school kid I saw, no matter where, from downtown LA to New York City to, Sand,
It's true.
everywhere, every high school kid had on a pair of Vans classics. Now not as much, but I'm sure that business will come back, right? That's a more stable business. I can't imagine that people turning off Vans classics sunk their whole business, but maybe it did.
Are you following Jonathan Wayne Freeman's back and forth with them?
No.
He they posted an Instagram about supporting, I don't know what the organization is called, queer,
LGBTQ.
yeah,
Yeah.
queer surf or something like that.
Yeah. Queer Serve, I think it's
Queer
called.
queer surf. So they're like they have a collaboration with queer surf. And so he posted a follow-up post like making fun of them basically. Like, hey, it's 2025. Queer people are totally accepted. It's fine. You don't have to like jump on the bandwagon to try to profit off of it, basically was his joke or his take. And then the following day or two, posted another video saying, this video I did making fun of you guys performed better than your guys' video on your own platform. You guys have 3 million followers, and I have 300,000, and I got more reach than you did off of this spoof video, basically. And in that video, it was saying exactly like, you guys have lost the plot completely, and this is further evidence of it. And, the financial reports prove it.
Well, here we go. I'm going to just pile on John Wayne Freeman a little more today. Did we pile on him last week a little bit too?
Discussed him, didn't pile on.
Yeah. And I don't mean to pile on. I don't want this to sound like a pile on. John Wayne Freeman, like what you do, like your surf stuff better. But right here in this day and age, yeah, it's 2025. But precisely when I saw Vans doing this, uh, I was totally supportive of them doing that. When everyone, because Vans has been doing collabs with, LGBTQ kind of collabs over the years, right? This is not new. Uh,
They do
all
it
of
in
us,
June.
yeah, in June, exactly, Pride Month. All of a sudden, though, a couple years ago, everybody was doing Target, everyone was doing this, right? Bud Light, everyone. Then everybody got all super scared and totally, jerked back to none of this, no, 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 right? Wherever you stand on DEI or all this, I'm not saying that all of that was great or all of it's bad. What I'm saying is Vans, once again, when everyone ran for the hills, went for it again, right?
Yeah.
Like, profit maybe be damned. We actually believe in this. We actually believe that we should broaden our tent, that we should showcase and highlight, typically marginalized people or groups or whatever it may be. And so I applaud Vance for doing this. Jonathan Wayne, I think, is fully missing the plot. Yeah, if you would have done this post in 2023 or 2022 when everyone was DEI crazy, right? When the world was getting painted with a rainbow flag, then I could see a statement of, hey, Vans, you don't need to do this, right? Everybody's doing this. In 2025, by all means, Vans is being brave and Jonathan Wayne Freeman is being totally reactive and I don't know, like Jonathan Wayne Freeman is not in the now. This conversation is changed.
Yeah. Well,
And
in
of course he's going to get more reaction from it, right? Like of course, if you say gay bad or DEI bad, everybody's going to pile on. If you're trying to promote it, very few come out now and say, yes.
well, to your point exactly is, of course, you're going to get more reaction because what they're saying is just norm and commonplace now.
And or
And
it's
so it
people.
just fits in with the landscape. And what you're saying is now controversial. So the controversy is going to get more.
I don't know. I would argue that Vans is actually being more controversial than John Wayne Freeman. John Wayne Freeman is saying the standard line to his vacuum of an audience, right? So John Wayne Freeman is out there throwing red meat to his lions. Obviously, they're going to eat it up. Vans is not doing that. Vans is, I don't think, core consumer. I'm sure it pissed a lot of their core consumer off, like it pissed off John Wayne Freeman, right? But it is, I think, more than ever now, this is people are scared to speak up about LGBTQ stuff and queer stuff, right? Where this is the time where we should be saying, of course, we wish this is more normal, but all the stuff that's getting rolled back now, we should at least be aware of it and recognize it.
Yeah. Well, in other financial reporting news, um, I don't disagree with you. I'm not trying to change the subject, but in other financial reporting news, Com Turin on Beach Grit wrote a follow-up story to the Lady Gaga slash Mayhem lawsuit, where the most important, obviously, Beach Grit. The point of the article is that Beach Grit is being referenced in the lawsuit. the reporting that was done on Beach Grit. But additionally, I thought most important was he revealed the dollar amount that Mayhem is suing Lady Gaga
Yeah,
for,
100 mil. But
100 mil.
that was revealed at the first lawsuit too. I think Com touched on that. But
Mm,
yeah, that's what it is, 100 mil.
that was the first I had seen of it. That's a huge number.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those what is Justin Baldoni countersuing Blake Lively for. I think you just throw in it feels like in this day and age, I'm no lawyer, but it feels like you throw insane numbers that there's no cap. So I want $1 trillion. And then we can whittle it down to, a couple hundred grand.
Yeah. I don't think it'll get whittled down to that low. I think it'll be in the millions.
I mean, do you think that Lady Gaga is going to, again, Comturns' whole thing is this case is getting thrown out. Did you read? I mean, his is like, this is insane. Like, whatever, it's only not even an idiot or something would confuse Lady Gaga with Lost, right? And I think further complicated by the fact that whatever Norwegian or Swedish or whatever it is, hardcore metal band Mayhem by far, far predates Lost. And
Yeah.
so what are you going to do? Are you going to let them sue you now? But yeah, I guess we'll see where this one goes.
I will say Lady Gaga has grown on me over the years. Now I see clips of her. I totally appreciate her art and what she's done since the very beginning. And I'll see old clips of her too that get resurfaced. And I was like, man, she fell on my deaf ears. Or she was so obnoxious to me at the time when she kind of got big that I just wrote her off and didn't listen and didn't pay attention. And now I'm like, man, she was really forward thinking, prescient, smart.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think she is a true artist, right? The only thing I wish that she wouldn't do is act.
Mm.
Like her in House of Gucci was painful. Did you watch House of Gucci?
Yeah, I did. And I don't remember feeling strongly about it, but I do remember loving her in The Joker Part Two, Folie à
Okay.
Deux, and
I didn't.
also Star is Born. I thought she was good in.
I was so turned off by House of Gooch that I did not watch Folie à Deux. I should.
Folie,
Folie à Deux got absolutely hammered so hard that it makes me want to watch it.
it's incredibly good.
Okay, I'm excited.
It
I mean,
it got
It's Todd Phillips, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the reviews I read was that Todd Phillips was absolutely just trolling the film industry. He was like making fun of movie making or of the film industry.
I don't think so. I mean, I'd have to go back with that context to maybe try to see it through that lens, but I remember it got lambasted, and I was going into the viewing experience knowing that. And from the beginning, I was like, this is really good. And in the
Uh,
middle, I was like, this is phenomenal. By the end, I'm like, this is kind of a masterpiece.
okay, I'm totally in.
So it's a musical,
Yep.
which you knew that much.
Yep.
It the whole premise of the Joker is trying to make people smile, trying to make people laugh. That is the premise of a clown. That is why the Joker is a clown, but he's also a psychopath. Well, song and dance is the way that you make people laugh, you know? And so it's him going through his incarceration and all of this stuff, like trying to do a song and a dance to get the guard to laugh. And it seems farcical and out of place on the surface, but it's not. That's what the
That's who it
Joker would
is.
do. Yeah,
I love it. I
exactly.
love it. Okay, I'm in.
It's incredibly
Okay.
well done. And I could see Todd Phillips coming up with a concept and people in Hollywood being like, you can never make this a musical, whatever. And because he has the clout that he has, they gave him free reign to do it. And I think he executed it brilliantly.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I
And
want
maybe
to
that'll,
rewatch it.
and hopefully that will rehab Lady Gaga because yeah, House of Gooch made me so incredibly frustrated. Just the overacting. I think it was both uh the House of Gucci itself, which was an awful film, and I thought Adam Driver was horrible in that too. I thought the movie was boring. They took something that I loved, high fashion Gucci. That story is incredible. The fact that whatever Gucci's wife had him kill every part of
Yeah,
it was
yeah, that's
great.
right.
And so to mess it up, like the visuals, just stinking northern Italy, Milan, from skiing, everyththing. You gave the perfect, subject matter, and it just became with the perfect director. Theoretically, it wasn't Michael Mann. It was House of Gucci. It might even be Michael Mann.
No, Michael Mann did Ferrari. He
Yeah,
botched that one.
he did botch that one. Who is House of Gooch? House
There's too many shows named House of something.
Gucci film. Let's see. It is
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Exactly. Master, right?
Yeah,
Ridley
yeah.
Scott. And then I think Lady Gaga thought she had delivered such a tour de force performance that they really went out with Lady Gaga leading like the best actress Oscar buzz push, right? And so she was out there talking so seriously about the character, how she had, you know, method acted for months to get in. Da, 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 da. It was like a lot. And then the whole thing is just stupid. And then you think, oh, everyone involved in that was dumb.
It's weird when that many famous people, like Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons, Ridley Scott, they all get
Yeah.
together and it still turns out
Garbage.
terrible.
Yeah.
Let's go to a adults falling down slash tools to live by segment.
A combo.
A
Wow. This is
combo.
like a collaboration. This
This
is Adults
is
Falling Down X Tools to
exact
Live By.
and even relationship advice rolled into this one too.
Wow.
So this is presented by Veyer Watches as always. So VeyerWatches.com/surf splendor. Go save yourself 15% off yours or come win one at our live shows next week.
And just a reminder here, once again, Father's Day is not this Sunday, but next
Ooh.
Sunday. And nothing says nothing like Father's Day more than a watch. I mean, you get a watch for the young father, right? Like for Italo, for pity's sake. Italo Ferreira could use a Veyer watch. A watch for a young father is like, hey, you have responsibilities now. You have to be aware of the time. There's places you need to be, et cetera, et cetera. For old man, dad, perfect. Time is ticking out, bro. You're almost off this mortal coil. Everyone could use a Veyer. Every dad could use a Veyer watch.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Hello, DLS and Chaz. Heard you guys talking about adults falling down, and it brought this story to mind. It was July 2018 in Argentina, right in the middle of winter. My girlfriend and I went to Mar del Plata, a beach town 4 hours from Buenos Aires, for a surfing weekend. At this point, we had been together for 3 years, and in that time, she started surfing while coming with me on trips. First day on the trip, we went to a mellow break and met a couple of friends. While sitting in the lineup, I see a set approach, a beautiful left-hander starting to stand up, and my girlfriend happens to be in perfect position. Knowing she might need a little encouragement, I turn to my girlfriend, start hyping her up, and tell her I'm going to help push her in. She hesitates, yells at me, and says that the wave is too big for her. I reply, quote, "Don't be a wuss, you got it." And I proceed to turn her towards shore and push her into the wave, knowing that she's not committed, but she has the skill to make it, and this could be the best wave of her life. I'm watching from behind, but I can tell that she rides down the face of the wave on her stomach, never attempts to stand. Next thing I see is her bright yellow board shooting up in the air out of the back of the wave. Uh-oh. I have to scramble and duck dive, but I see her collect the board and then catch that next whitewash in. She's probably rattled, but I think it's all good. The next set wouldn't come for about 10 minutes, so I couldn't go in to check on her. In that time, she disappears from sight. I finally make my way into the beach, but I can't find her. I walk towards the rocks, thinking that she might be with the rest of our group, and while I'm passing in front of the parked cars, someone yells at me, "Are you Joaquin? Angie is right here." I immediately knew something was wrong. I run up to find her lying on the floor, blood streaming down her face, people gathered around and a lifeguard with her. She had a gash on her head. We had to help her out of her wetsuit and booties and gloves and before taking her to the hospital. During the 3 years of our relationship, she had revealed to me that she never had stitches. It's always something that blew my mind that somebody could go through childhood and adolescence without needing stitches. Well, we broke that streak. She ended up with 3 stitches to the head and a fantastic story that she still likes to remind me about now that we've been married for almost 10 years, now that we've been together for 10 years and have a kid. But I've often wondered, was I in the wrong for pushing her past her abilities, or did I do her a favor in facilitating her first scar and stitches? Love the show. Keep work, Joaquin.
Wow, Joaquin. Thank you so much for the email and for the story. It was a ride of emotions. I'm happy at the end. Married for 10 years, still together with a kid. Bravo. the part that caught me in the middle that I just want to comment on before we get to the rest of it. Uh, another set wouldn't come for the next, or a set wouldn't come for the another next 10 minutes. I was just stuck. I love that about surfers. That me too, that there's no such thing as paddling in. It didn't even like you see your somebody hurt on the beach, you're like, uh-oh, hurry up, wave come. Oh, you're just gonna sit there and wait for a wave to come.
Leave it to fate. It
Yeah.
is what it is. Mother Nature will provide or not.
And here we go. Okay. So I'm going to say, now that I've thought about it some more and have had my own experiences here, I'm going to say pushing people into waves, be they children or adults, might be the most dangerous thing you can do or
Mm.
lead to the most potential absolute carnage, right? For example, like I think you're paddling in yourself. If she was going to paddle in herself, right? And if she was feeling scared, then maybe she wouldn't have given it the real full dig and she would have never caught that wave, right? Or maybe she would have got it and said, I'm doing this and popped up and found the confidence in the paddle, right? The push somehow throws everything off and then careens the whole thing toward possible absolute carnage. And the times, so I'm going to say Joaquin. Was he asking if he did the right thing?
He said, was I in the wrong for pushing her over her abilities, or did I do her a favor in facilitating her first scar and stitches?
Okay, so I think if if and you're really coming close to the line here, if she didn't break her neck, if she didn't get permanently disabled, you did her a favor, but you were right on that line. I remember one time I was in Mexico, uh, with kid and wife. Kid was probably, let's say 5. Uh, and paddled her out the back, point, paddled her out the back. It was head high, probably, like decent. Um, she must have been on a boogie board. Uh, oh no, she would have been whatever she was on. A thing. A set came. I thought this is gonna be fun, but I pushed her without really thinking or looking, and then looked at the shore, and it was just where I had pushed her, rock outcropping, like from a good football field size or more, that was draining, right? It was like, so these rocks were all popping up and it was so shallow. Uh, and so I was just like, there's nothing I could do, right? At that point, she's gone. Uh, wife sees it from the beach, starts sprinting into the to the rock field, right? Like as fast as she can. I'm like, ooh, this is going bad. So I see kid hit the sand eventually, just gets up, drags the leash of the boogie board, and is just walking like no big deal, right? Uh, wife had tried to go into the rock field to get her and just got mangled in the rocks. I finally get to shore. Obviously, wife is screaming at me. Hemingway is just like has a smile on her face, says it was fun. And I said, well, what were you looking at? And she's like, oh, the rocks are going right under me. And and like, but all to say, great time, fun memory, big laugh now. She could have ran right into one of those rocks, knocked out, and died right there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which, so I'm going to say this one proof is in the pudding. If she comes out okay, it was the right thing to do, but you never know that. And also, pushing people in, you're really, you're really gambling with death.
Yeah. So initially, my thought on this was good on you. Like everybody needs to get stitches in their life. She was raised in a padded household where her parents didn't subject her to any germs. And so she needs to go out there and have an adventure and live, and you're helping her do that. That's all great, right? All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
But as you were talking, I realized, I mean, surfing 101, no pushing people into waves.
I mean,
Like
I think we've established that firmly now. I think this story is the final nail in the pushing people into waves coffin.
pushing people into waves does not do them any favors.
No.
Yes, the tourist wants to learn as quickly as possible and they want to get to their feet and experience the joy of moving, standing on a surfboard. But you're you are undercutting the entire process and the entire, I don't know, like anything that you need to do in surfing, eventually, you have to learn through these initial steps. You need to learn the way the ocean moves. You need to learn how to balance on your stomach before you get to your feet. You need to learn how to sit on your board before you get to your feet. All of these things come with you need to catch a wave under your own power. Like, so this undercuts all of those efforts. And I know your heart's in the right place and all that sort of thing. But then additionally, what Chaz was saying was the pusher rarely does it perfectly to where you're matching the speed of the wave.
Yep.
Unless you're a professional pusher like Raymana,
Yeah.
the reality is you're new to pushing. And so you are going to push too hard. And she's going to, that's why she didn't stand to her feet, is because she was going too fast and she was going to ride out the drop before she got into the right motion with the wave, you know?
Or push in the wrong direction. It's not like you're expertly angling the board down the line on the push, right? I think most pushes are generally perpendicular to the beach, maybe slightly out, but if they need a push already, they're not going to know, oh, great, now I'm, going to go rip down this left. Like,
Yeah.
no, the push has already put it on a bad trajectory from the get. And I'm going to say the only appropriate times for pushing, there's two places for pushing. It is whitewash with a 2 or 3 year old, right? Like baby's
Yes,
first
that's
wave,
fine.
kind of. You're standing in thigh high water, wave is well broken, and you push. Uh,
Their arms aren't even wide enough. Their wingspan
yeah.
isn't wide enough to even paddle themselves.
And I'm going to say you're not even allowed to push into a wave. This is a push into a broken wave. You're pushing
Yeah.
them into whitewash.
Yeah.
The second I'm going to say is surf ranch. That place is so counterintuitive. You're getting nothing out of that and learning how to paddle into a surf ranch wave. So I've seen people who can surf decently surf good enough when they're up and riding, right? But at surf ranch, they just couldn't figure out that you're supposed to point it toward the flagpole or whatever and would just miss it. And then that Raymana come up and shove them in. And once they're up and riding, it's fine because that paddling is already counterintuitive. That's not helping you in any part of that experience, right? But otherwise, I'm going to say ban pushing.
That is the final thought here. And when Joaquin asks, am I in the wrong for pushing her over her abilities? The answer is no. Pushing her past her abilities, I think you are justified in. It's the physical pushing of her into the wave
You
that
should
was
have
the
shamed
mistake here.
her. You should have shouted her. You should have said, if you don't go on this wave, we're done. This shows you have no spine and I can't be with a spineless woman. Could have been a lot of other kinds of pushing. It's the physical pushing.
Well, there was an implication as I was reading this that, or he even states it there, did I push her past her abilities? Well, no, her wipeout wasn't a reflection of her not being able to level up to this moment of being on the best wave of her life. Her wipeout was reflective of you pushing
A
with the
crappy
wrong
push.
amount of force.
Yeah.
So you wiped her out. That wave was coming at a certain pace, and your push was not the exact right pace at the exact right angle. The wipeout is your fault.
I didn't know this was a firm and fast rule up until this very minute. And
I
so,
know.
I've been surfing with kid now. She's 12. And so for the past, now she paddles in on her own. She would get furious if I even attempted a push. I think of all the times I pushed her in waves poorly, like push
Yeah.
too much lift on the tail where it pearls. Push and get the her leash wrapped around my arm. And so she just like jerks off in the middle. There's the push. I probably let's say I pushed her into 150 waves. Uh, I'm gonna say 3 of those waves were actually matched to the wave itself with the force at the right angle in the right way. 3 out of 150.
Because you're not a professional pusher. So
I'm
you're
not.
learning the pushing game at the same way and pace that she's learning the surfing game. It's a
Yep.
terrible match. It's a match made in
Man,
hell.
ban pushing.
Ban pushing. And this, you're right. We finally came up with a definitive answer, but it's through months and months of mulling over. Like I came back from El Salvador and I told you the story of like, man, I'm
Yeah.
at the point in the lineup and there's
People
like
get pushed
surf
in.
guides who are
Yeah.
hired and they're pushing in tourists at
Yeah.
the point, when there's a beach break right here that they could be pushing them in. So we had to process all of these little different data
We
points to
did.
finally land at a conclusive decision, which is no pushing.
No pushing, zero pushing, except for whitewash with a toddler and or Raymana at the surf ranch.
I feel great about it.
Yeah, so good. It's nice just to say, because anytime I see it now in the lineup, I'm gonna say, nope, nope, nope. Dad with, 10-year-old kid, nope, sorry. Go if you want to push, go to the whitewash.
You think you're helping, but you're not.
You're hurting.
You're hurting everybody. Okay, let's go to commercial break and then we'll be back with Barrel or Nah. All right, Chaz, welcome back.
Great.
So I forgot to mention during the Tom Lowe story, I think it's time people wear helmets.
Yeah, we've been kicking this around for a while, I feel.
We have.
Uh there's just especially, and I think it's coming, right? I mean, once again, I've mentioned before on this show, 20 years ago, I'd be snowboarding, you'd see one helmet and you'd think that guy's a kook. Now you go snowboarding, you see everyone, and I feel like a kook for not wearing a helmet.
Totally agree. And it's it's at that level. I mean, I don't know where the boundary line is, but at that level, you're at Chopu, you have kids at home, or pipeline or what certain waves of consequence. Why wouldn't you just play it safe?
I mean, if you're over, I reckon, double overhead over any kind of reef, it should just be a no helmet, or a helmet is a not even a thought. I've never surfed with one. I mean, I wonder if it changes. Like, do you hear like weird whistling in your ear? Will it change your natural instincts?
Yes, but it's worth it to figure out how to live with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm never going to surf waves like that at this point in my life, but I'm almost inclined just to have a helmet on hand for if the waves do get, you know, overhead and hollow, why wouldn't I just put it on at that point?
I'll tell you that what's scarier than scary these days for me is I was out surfing a couple days ago. Well, it wasn't big. I'd say 3 to 4 and real mushy. But so, crowded. Was paddling out or, whatever next to, and some dude on a firewire. So standard firewire shortboard was next to him. Set came crumbling, getting ready to duck dive. I see him get off his board and push it out next to me. And I'm like, what? And then I duck dove, I don't know. He ditched his board. He pops up and I lit into him. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can't duck dive. You go in right now. And he gave me a shrug. Did I already tell the story? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, he gave me a shrug. And so I paddled right up to him and said, you get in right now. This is how people get hurt. You do not ditch your board in the lineup ever. You hold on. And he said, I'm really sorry. I know what I did was wrong. I deeply apologize. Like he got it. And so I then backed off. But helmet for that, man, getting whacked in the head with an errant surfboard where there's so many kooks out there now who either don't know how to duck dive or refuse to duck dive, where that's scarier to me at this point in my surfing journey than hitting the bottom.
Well, it's shocking, first of all. Did he not look back to see if anybody was around him?
He knew it was crowded. It was like, it was,
Insane.
yeah, it just like
Because,
straight ditched his board.
yeah, I mean, I never ever ditch my board,
You
but
hold on and go through the washing machine holding that thing.
I also am fully aware of who's around me. Like if there is a set and it is like, oh, my board might get ripped out of my hand or I might get sucked backwards or whatever, I always glance back just
Sure.
to see if there's somebody behind me,
Definitely, definitely. And yeah, like it seemed like zero awareness. He got off his board so gingerly to ditch it. And if it was big or whatever, I still would have yelled at him to go in. I mean, I think that's a standard rule as alongside no pushing. If you can't duck dive, you can't surf. If it's too big for you to duck dive or you're scared of duck diving, you are not allowed to surf where you're surfing.
I actually told a guy the same thing one time. It was a long time ago now, but it's probably 10 years ago, let's say. So I would have been like early 30s and the guy must have been early 20s. And he duck dove in front of me. It was a set wave Southside Huntington, and it was a pretty good day, like sizable day. He was in front of me paddling, and I was having the same assessment where I'm like, okay, is he going to ditch his board? Do I need to go left? Do I need to go right? But I'm like, no,
Terrifying.
yeah, he looks competent enough. So I'm just going to like have faith that he is competent, right? And so he duck dives, I duck dove behind him, and I came up and he was gone. I was like, what? And I look back, he was behind me. He was so poor at duck diving, and I duck dove so deep
So
that
you ducked up under him?
I duck dove under him and he got sucked back and got deposited right behind me. Like we had just swapped positions.
That could have been so deadly. You could have got scalped on that one though.
I I was so confused looking forward. And then when I looked back and saw him, I was so angry instantly that I just sounded off like out of instinct.
Yeah.
I just go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" And he looked shocked. And I was like, if you don't know how to duck dive, get out, like go down the
Yeah.
beach. You cannot surf here. You do not know how to duck dive. You mother, you just almost, you could have landed on my head. I was just like spewing. And then he sounded off. She's like, F you. Who are you? You can't tell me what to do. I live here. And
That's the worst.
I was like, and I just paddled away. I think like there was more waves coming. And so I was just like, I need to get through the set. And then he disappeared. Like he got sucked through the pier down the beach or something.
It is
But I was
absolutely
so pissed.
it is absolutely the worst when there's something that's like so fundamental,
Yeah.
such a fundamental truth where somebody will hit back. I get being embarrassed. I get whatever, but like hitting back with "You don't tell me what to do, gatekeeping, did all that stuff." No, 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 no. Like it is a hard, fast rule. You endanger yourself and others if you don't know how to duck dive.
If you literally got, you tried to duck dive and you got deposited behind me, how do you not know that you're in the wrong at that point?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not have an understanding that you did something wrong that put somebody else in danger? Like, it's so crazy.
No.
The other helmet uh, thing that I would advocate for was I never surfed Malibu, and it was that Hurricane Marie 10 years ago as well. And it was so big that it was kind of like Malibu is going to be firing, and there's nowhere else can handle the size, kind of a thing. So I went there, and um, a massive set rolled through, and I had to duck dive the freight trains that were coming, and enough people had ditched their boards, and enough people there ride logs with no leashes, that as the whitewash was coming at me, there was literally 10 logs
That's so scary.
flipping in different directions. There was nowhere to go. It was like
Did you
50
just
yards.
paddle to the ocean floor at that point? I
Yeah.
mean, just
Yeah.
jump off your board and get
I
down.
think I think I stayed on my board and duck dove, but it was literally like if I can't 30 yards to the left, 30 yards to the right, as far as I could see either way, there was just logs just rolling in the whitewash. And I was
Oh,
like, I just have to go and hope that
don't get
through
whacked in the
random
head.
chance. Yeah. And I didn't get whacked in the head. I made it through somehow, but that was frightening.
Helmet time.
Helmet time. Okay. Let's go to barrel or nah. The first one comes from a listener, and I am so glad that they asked this question.
Hey guys, this is for the grit. Fat Dan Stanley again from Daly City. Arrow or not? Not rockets. Obviously, I don't mean like inside someone's house or your own house, but sometimes when you're outside for a walk, maybe you're by yourself, you gotta let one rip from time to time, clear it out. It's a lot easier than looking for a tissue. So, anyways, barrel or not? It's not rockets. Keep work. Cheers, boys.
What say you?
If you can throw a snot rocket, if you can launch one, absolute barrel. I am so jealous. I can't do it right, right? Like if I try, guarantee I will get it on my face, on my shirt, on my pants. It'll spray. It's not just that like missile down, right? Those guys who do it well are just like poof, and it's just out. I am always very, very jealous of them. So if you could do it well, full on barrel, because I'd say it's more sanitary too than getting a tissue, eh, walking around it with your hand and then depositing it in a trash can where it's going to fester. Those germs are going to breed, right? Like I feel you're just getting that out in nature, boom, gone.
Couldn't disagree with you more.
Wow.
I know this reveals me as just being a little too much of a dandy, perhaps. I've never been more grossed out by anything. From the time I was in elementary school and kids would pull this off on the playground, I was like, what in the world? That is disgusting.
I mean, I'm
Like,
going to
I
say
do
it's cool.
not want your snot anywhere in my space, the environment, the air. on the ground. I'm going to slip on it now. We're playing handball or something.
I mean, it's gross I'm going to say, like, when I see athletes do it, right? On the field of play, on the soccer pitch, I think, wow, what a skill you have. What I wouldn't give to learn.
I think if you are skilled at it, that means you developed the skill over time. And so you've done this tons of times, tons of different locations when you could have just done had a Kleenex with you.
Question, though, for you. What is preferable to have, sorry,
Sorry.
to have snot festering in a garbage can or to have it out in nature, just being cleansed by the earth itself?
Garbage cans are there for festering, disgusting things. Option A. The other thing is, like in this guy's scenario of you're out in nature by yourself, nobody's around, and it ends up in who, never seen by another human being, let's say. I guess I'm okay with that. But like I said, if you've developed the skill to actually be good enough at it, it means you've done it on the playground since you were a kid and you've done it in the uh, awareness of other people. And it's also just disgust. I guess for me, it's more a problem of it's disgusting to see.
I would argue though, it's a talent when you see somebody do it. Like I'll say a snot rocket is when you see a good spitter, right? Somebody who can really like, and there's zero spray, there's zero nothing. You think, yeah, that's gross, but good on you.
Nope, I'm going the other way. Although to help you make your argument, me coming from the wine world, I've got an incredible stream when it comes to spitting wine out.
See, I mean, and I would think that is a talent. That is something
Oh yeah,
I
I'm proud of it.
appreciate. Yeah.
I'm proud of it because you end up in a wine tasting environment and there's people who are like spitting very
Dribbling down their chin.
unelegantly. Yeah,
Yeah.
inelegantly. I can hit the spittoon from 5 feet away and not spill a drop. And like a stream, not just like one shot, but like a stream,
Steady.
steady stream.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'm
Barrel.
pretty proud of it. Barrel or not number two, boredom. And I don't mean boredom as in you are forced to be in a boring situation like at work. I mean that you find yourself with nothing to do. Personally, I'm full barrel. It's super rare for me to be bored, but I think it's an important part of being a human and a quickly disappearing from our culture. What creative and innovative thinking is being lost? I think it's also a great skill for children to be comfortable with boredom. Thoughts?
Absolute 100%, 1000% barrel. And it's one of the main things I worry about in raising a child in this day and age of it's really hard to, yes, you can, grab the phone, grab all the devices, grab everything. Kids are crafty, right? They will go find some device, something. Because boredom of our youth, the boredom of our youth was it just was a fait accompli. There was no like, you can either be bored or entertained. Well, I choose boredom. No, you were bored because there's nothing to do. Now it is only a choice, right? You have to choose to be bored. And it is hard to instill the virtues of boredom in someone else, I think, as a parent, right? Like, yes, there's exactly as he says, there's your brain flowers in a different way when it is, bored. But it's really hard today to teach that. I practice it myself a lot though. I know the instinct is always to grab the phone, but I myself will just go sit outside or even on an airplane, stare at the seat in front of me instead of, watching something I don't want to watch or whatever. Just because thoughts do come in.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we need to reinstitute boredom. I there's no way to study this, but I'm curious what is lost in society in this modern era that can be directly related to lack of boredom.
I'm sure all kinds of stuff. I'm sure both,
I agree.
scientific advancements and artistic masterpieces. And I think many, many, many things are lost when boredom now has been canceled because it effectively has been canceled. You don't
Yeah,
have to be bored. We had to be bored. There was no
yeah,
option but to be bored, right? During times.
totally.
In this digital age, you didn't never, there's your phone, you carry it around in your pocket. Everybody's got one. Not only is there news, games, gossip, social media. There's like 101 ways not to be bored.
I think the other difference from when we were raised was boredom was a significant part of our day.
Yeah.
And then productivity was a significant part of our day. I think both those things have been eradicated to uh, mindlessness. So it's not as if the boredom has been replaced by us scrolling our phone to be more productive and to
No.
generate better works. It's that it's just that we're doing less work now and it's lesser quality work. And it's mindless stuff that's occupied our time now. It's playing video games, it's scrolling the phone, it's watching TV. And so bring back boredom.
We're not even entertaining ourselves well anymore, to be
No,
quite frank.
we're
And not
not.
to throw the wife under the bus, but what? And I don't know that this is a great work of art. TBD, I suppose. Sirens. Have you watched Sirens yet?
We're 2 episodes in. It's not
Okay.
a great work of art, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, and TBD on I still don't know how it's going to turn. I still don't know what the storyline, where it's going. So it still has me kind of intrigued, even narratively, right? I think I'm 3 in maybe. In any case, and not to throw her under the bus, but wife is sitting there scrolling phone while we're watching this, right? And I'm thinking, so we're not even entertaining. You're half entertained here, half entertained on your phone. But what if this was a great work of art? Like, what kind of subtle, nuances would you be missing because you're not paying attention? You're not studying the thing in front of you.
Dude, my wife did the exact same thing with the exact same show. And then later, literally yesterday, our other friend was over and he's like, "You guys watching Sirens? It's really good." And she's like, "No, it's not. I don't really like it. It's not very good." And I looked at her and I'm like,
You were
"You were
scrolling.
staring at your phone the whole time. How would you even know?" You know what I mean? Like, as if you have an informed opinion. It's
Yeah,
literally the exact same show that,
very funny.
but
Which
I
I
think
get. I
that,
get. It's not a great show, but maybe it's not a great show. But how do you know unless are you expecting a great show, a great work of art to grab you by a fishhook out of the gate? No, there's been so many
yeah,
that I was like unsure of or didn't know, but then you get to the end of it and you say, "Wow, now that was good."
I agree. So it's not as if she started looking at her phone because the show sucked. It's
Yeah,
the opposite. It's that this was a moment in the evening where the phone was the priority, so he shouldn't have put on a show.
precisely. And that's exactly what I like. And I will wait, right? I will sit
Yeah.
there again, really throwing the wife under the bus here, but I will sit there and wait until she's done scrolling
Yeah,
to
me
turn
too.
something on. But then she'll get pissed. She'll be like, turn something on, right? And
Well,
then I'll turn it on and just be passive aggressively staring at
so
it.
we have shows that are designed for scrolling.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
do you want to watch the mindless whatever? Yeah,
Sure.
not yeah. But if it's a show that we really love and want to watch, then it's kind of like that's reserved for the prime time.
Yep.
Man, really weird world that we're living in now.
So
These are the
weird.
conversations. My parents are trying to put food on the table. Um, Final Barrel or Not actually related to some of this boarding school.
Ooh. Boom. Hit me. Is this just a
Bo-
barrel and off straight
That
up?
that's just a barrel or not straight up boarding school. Boarding school was something that I felt like was a part of my youth. It maybe it was a part of the youth that had just prior to my generation, but it was something that I always felt was like a threat in my world. It was like, man, if you're a
Yeah.
bad kid, your parents
You
send
get
you to
sent
boarding
to boarding
school
school.
kind of a thing. And it's
But then,
also a geographic, like in England, it happens more than in California, but I never hear people talk about it now.
you look at like, yeah, like it was used as both a threat or how it was spoken of. But then you'd watch like Dead Poet Society, right? And say, what I wouldn't do to go to boarding school, like put on a suit and dinner jacket and go roam these fancy halls and learn and then be with my bros. Like,
Nothing seemed like more of a threat to me, but now in hindsight, I wish that I had it.
yeah, I mean, and I'm going to say full barrel. The idea of boarding school is full barrel, 100% barrel. Uh, dependent, of course, on whatever. Like, but it's got to be a good school. Like, I feel the boarding school should be utilized for advancement of the child, not for freeing up parents' time. Like, and so if you're sending kid to boarding school, it's a good one, but because you're just too busy, right? Then
Right.
I'd say that's kind of rough. Like that's probably not going to end well. If This you like for daughter, right? I mean, there's going to she'll be at boarding school here in probably 2 years. So like that'll be that. And there's no other way to do that.
for
Ballet. I mean,
ballet.
they
So
board.
is she gone for months at a time, or do you get to see her on a regular basis?
I mean, it would just depend if we move to New York or if we live in New York,
Oh,
then we would see her on a regular basis. But if we're in California, then it would be months at a time.
the part that always rubbed me wrong, because I agree with everything you're saying about boarding school. If it's for the kids' betterment, fantastic. They're going to learn languages, they're going to
Yep.
advance their, yeah, all that. But the part that always rubbed me the wrong way was the separation of from the parents, where it's kind of like, okay, they're in a young, impressionable stage in their life, and they're feeling like they're being abandoned a little bit. And then you are like, I guess I'll see you in 3 months, and you wipe a
Yeah.
tear from your eyes. I think there's got to be a middle version where it's like they come home at the end of the day or the end of the week, and you still are reconnected to your kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like there's an ideal version of it where I'll report back hopefully if this trajectory keeps going. I'm gonna stumble across, which I would imagine it's living in the same town, like living in New York and then seeing regularly. Like she
And
sleeps.
the kid gets some independence out of that too.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
also
She's
great for them.
completely
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
middle ground, but
All right.
barrel.
All right. Boarding schools, barrel, but not the ones that are a prison camp where the kids get abused.
Nope, exactly.
Sorry, Paris Hilton or whoever. Okay. Well, hey, great show. We are going to continue this banter and get into some a little bit more salacious topics, including tin foiling over on Extra Fine Grit.
Can't wait.
And then also, we'll be back on Noble Rot. Go listen to Noble Rot. Grab it in whatever podcast feed you're listening to this in, or podcast app you're listening to this in. Noble Rot is the non-surf show produced by Chaz. And we'll be there on Monday. And then on Wednesday in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, come on out, $25, the Blue Jay listening room. And then the next night, Charleston, South Carolina at Head High Studios, joined by Cam Richards on stage there. And you can get tickets at surfsplendorpodcast.com or link from the Instagram bio at surfsplendor. And it's going to be fun. Casual,
Come,
fun, get together.
come please.
All right. We will see you next week.
Skateboard.